Hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Formula Pod. And yeah, we are not having a race this weekend, but we are talking all outside the track. That means off track, or what we rather call as our specials, called the grid gossips or track talks. What we have given a lot of names for that all this while, but here we are after quite a long time talking about what's happening off track. And yeah, today joining me is the full crew. It's a full house back, half in Dubai, half in London, doing their business. So yeah, welcome all of you guys back, Nathan, Mahir, and Mashruti. And yeah, we are going to talk all what has happened, what like those topics which we feel like really needs our take. That is this particular specials we're going for. So like yeah, once again, welcome everyone to the show. Biggest what do you call elephant in the room is Daniel Ricciardo exiting after the Singapore Grand Prix. Again, what do you guys felt like that? Do you think that that is something which they could have, what do you call, handled it a bit more differently? Here, go on.
First of all, great to be back. I've been traveling, shifting here back and forth. I'm in London now. I have my own house with my two best friends. That's why I was about busy about doing this. Anyway, coming back to the question, would there be a better way to handle this? Yes, I think there would have been another team trying to get Daniel Ricciardo, but Daniel Ricciardo, after he left Red Bull, has been dropping levels, and I don't blame him. I blame him for shifting, but I don't blame him because he didn't get a proper seat. He didn't get a he got a few chances in McLaren, Renault. He also did. I mean, driving for Red Bull right now as well. Red Bull, the sister team. Um, he lost his charm. Red Bull will still remember him as who he is and will always support him. I think Daniel Ricciardo, if not, is one of the best drivers out there right now. If he goes to Indy, he can maybe start a career in Indy, or he can wait and see if Audi could give him a seat. So anything is possible right now. Nathan, what do you think about this whole Ricardo avocado situation?
Ricardo avocado situation. Man, I'm gonna miss that guy on the grid. It's actually such a shame. Because I mentioned this in the last episode as well. Like, I obviously support Ferrari, but one of the drivers that I used to watch and used to really like was Daniel Ricciardo, and it was his like late breaking overtakes and his whatever he does on track is just phenomenal, and his his antics off track as well. So that is something that we're gonna miss. Yes, definitely. To answer your question, Arjun, Red Bull, V Carb, I don't know, whatever their organization is, they should have handled it differently. Although I do agree that Ricardo should have been replaced. Now, I don't know, maybe that is a differing opinion, but Ricardo should have been replaced, but the way it was done maybe was wrong. I expected him to finish the season with VCAB at the end, and finish it off in Abu Dhabi. But they have again just dropped a driver in the middle of the season, and this is something that Red Bull has done over the past couple of years. I mean, it started off with Gasly, actually even before Gasly as well, with Kvyat, replacing a lot of the drivers, Max coming into Red Bull, them shifting drivers here and there, but then dropping, Gasly, Albon, and now Ricardo. So it's just the way it works, I guess, with Red Bull. But yeah, it's really handled poorly, and I'm gonna miss that driver.
I do love Daniel Ricciardo a lot. And trust me, every single time we bring up Formula One, he's the first person I talked about. Arjun, initially, when you introduced me to F1, we talked about Daniel Ricciardo. Nathan, I think our first conversation was about Daniel Ricciardo. And me, we talk about him all the time. But see, he wasn't doing so well. I'll agree there. But I think if this was his last time in a car, in a Formula One car, he at least deserved that much of respect for the years of work that he's done to be, sent off not just by him sitting in his car for 10 seconds taking it all in on and coming to tears in the news pen. It's that's not how it's supposed to work. He's supposed to have donuts and everything because of the way that, the amount of stuff that he's bought in, the amount of, joy that he's bought in, and the people he has brought in to watch Formula One. No one can do that. No one can walk into the paddock with on a horse in Kota. No one can do what he does, right? So it just, people are gonna miss him. I wish he would have had a better send off than just, just being dumped overnight. But I don't know what they're gonna do, if they're gonna do anything. But it's not. It was not the best. I get it. Maybe he could have, extended it till the end of the year. It's not what you wanted, but it is what it is. And Red Bull have a history of doing that. It's not something that we haven't been talking about for a while. This is something that we've been talking about for the past few episodes, and this is just the end of it.
Well, what I personally felt is just that, of course, like there has been stories surfacing around saying Daniel Ricciardo came for the Singapore Grand Prix with the news that after this race he will not be there. So he knew the news earlier. And in one of the recent interviews which Christian Horner gave to F1 Nation podcast, the villain of Red Bull, which is Dr. Helmut Marko, wanted him out since Spain. But then that, but we all know since Spain, Red Bull's form has been depleting significantly. And yeah, I just know this fact because I was editing the last episode's highlight reel where Nathan was saying this. So I just sat and listened to this again and again while editing. So thanks for that. But yeah, the last time something like this. So this year now, this is the second driver being dropped. We have we had earlier Logan Sargent and then now Daniel Ricciardo. Last time something like this happened was in 2017 when Daniel Kvyat and Jolyon Palmer had to both leave the teams in 2017. So Jolyon Palmer was in Renault and Daniel Kvyat was in Red Bull. So yeah, this season has got a lot of references to, I feel, to a lot of iconic season moments. Like we have we again, a McLaren main constructor 2012. So a lot of references like that actually is actually bringing that excitement to the season. But some of these moments like this is just, what do you call, is the letdown. But yeah, with what Mihir said about Daniel Ricciardo losing performance, I personally feel that, again, if Daniel Ricciardo was in the Red Bull, he would have had that bit more motivation. Because the plan initially was, okay, let's see how Sergio Perez performs. If he doesn't perform, have Daniel promoted to the seat. And because Daniel was doing pretty well on lap times, but then that wasn't the case. Even though Sergio was being a mess, Red Bull kind of supported Sergio rather than Daniel. So either way, like yeah, he's I feel like he's just done with Formula One as a whole. I personally feel. So
That is absolutely true. I'm sorry to cut you here, but like, out of all of this, there is one driver that just caught astray, in my opinion, and that's Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, you mentioned Christian Horner in the Formula for F1 Nation podcast as well. He
yeah.
mentioned all these drivers, but he didn't mention the one driver that really, like, he was a Red Bull Junior when he joined Formula One. He got into the Alpha Tauri, and the reason why he signed the contract for VCarb for next season is because he's eyeing for that Red Bull seat, and I don't know why a team like Red Bull are noticing a talent like Yuki Tsunoda. Now, obviously, he has his ups and downs, but you can also blame that on the team. Sometimes the strategy isn't right, and it's just been a letdown. But he's been a pretty good driver this season, and in all, I mean, he's kind of showing his worth against Ricardo. Now, is that now Ricardo in his prime? Is he beating Ricardo in his? I mean, is he beating a prime Ricardo? Maybe not, but at least he is beating his teammate, and he's beating an 8-time Grand Prix winner in Daniel Ricciardo in same equal machinery, which is basically going to lead to another point that I have, is that now Yuki, I feel like drivers are being are like really disrespected in Red Bull, and Yuki needs to look outside, and potentially he needs to look at a team outside Red Bull, and he should look at Aston Martin.
Mm.
Of
and
course, with the
and
Japanese
the
connection and things, right?
Exactly. Honda coming in 2026, partnering up with Aston Martin. It's the dream pairing, and we should talk about Aston Martin as well
Well,
because
I'm just thinking. Definitely, it should not be Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll. It's just that both are like two
Oh,
extremes. two extremes
That's
of the
gonna
world,
be
and plus Lance will just be like, "Oh, Daddy, I can't deal with this guy."
that's gonna be like that's gonna be a really weird. I can't even picture it. You imagine Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda, and you cannot, for the life of you, imagine them together. But Nathan, I totally agree with you because Red Bull has dragged Yuki through from the beginning, and every single time he renews his contract, the poor thing loses out in a Red Bull seat, and them signing Checo again. I don't know why he's staying there. I don't know what's keeping him there. And we have no idea what Helmut Marko stole or Christian Horner stole Yuki, but they're doing something and they're just dangling the carrot in front of the horse, hoping and praying that it keeps biting. We don't know what's gonna happen, but for
Yeah,
Yuki's sake, I hope he moves on from Red Bull.
Yuki Lance Stroll is something that um, it's really unorthodox to see from my eyes, but I think, and I'm gonna sound very, very harsh, so listeners and my fellow team members don't. Lance Stroll is not the best driver. I've said it multiple times. I'll say right now. Oh yeah, it's easy to sit and say things while I'm doing my podcast, sitting in an AC room. But I'll tell you this right now. Look, I'm comparing him with other drivers. Yuki is a rookie. Well, he was a rookie. He's learning. He has improved miraculously over the past few seasons, and I think that if these two come together, Yuki will overcome, and there might be a chance that he might overstep, which may cause some drama with the Stroll family.
Mhm.
Because,
Yeah.
and that is one thing I'm not talking in terms of Netflix, but I'm talking in terms of just the driving and the skill and the behavior and the attitude towards driving, and that's what's going to make a change. I think Lance Stroll is a very aggressive driver, but he doesn't know when to do what. And Yuki, on the other hand, well, we all know Yuki. Yuki is a very aggressive driver. He doesn't care about budgeting. He would crash a car if he needs to. But yeah, I think it's a great idea, not in just terms of business, but also in terms of partnership. I think it's a good change for Yuki to go and sit in a Mercedes car rather than staying with Honda. It's good to play around. What do you think, Arjun, Nathan, Vish? Is it good for a driver to always switch teams back and forth if he's in high demand, or should he settle down in one team for the rest of his career, making millions
you
and
know,
millions?
to be very honest, we have like big examples. Say Carlos Sainz. How much times the guy has switched teams?
Hmm?
Like
Yeah.
again, you one example. We have like prime examples. Like you have like Lando Norris joined the grid with McLaren, still with McLaren. He believed the team and he's like, okay, one day they will do what it takes, and McLaren did the job.
Yeah.
Yuki may be probably in that mindset, being like, okay, one fine day they will end up doing stuff. But then again, I just don't know at this rate how it is going to be with Weekob and Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
Then after Honda goes, it's hardly even known how the future looks like. But yeah, I would say again, I think he is not realizing what is his worth. He's got really nice racecraft. Yes, he is a hot-headed guy, but we have seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Are we talking about Yuki or are we talking
I
about
mean,
Lance Stroll?
I'm talking about Yuki in this.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
giving like an example. Same, like I'm just saying, if you want to switch teams, you've got people like Carlos Sainz who have switched teams. I believe like what every 2 or 3 years they switch teams.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like say from Red Bull jump to Renault, from Renault to McLaren, from McLaren to Ferrari. Now from Ferrari, he's going to
Talk
Williams.
about talk about the other Spaniard, the rookie
Fernando
Fernando
Alonso himself.
Alonso. He is the prime example of switching
Exactly.
teams. He's literally like switching teams every 2, 3 seasons. I mean, it's funny.
So
No,
I'm
I think
assuming from this
Fernando Alonso is like
conversation,
favorite.
I'm assuming with this conversation, everyone's pro changing teams on a regular basis.
I just said that there are examples where some of them stayed in the team for long and some of them have switched. But I
Okay.
personally feel right now, because Yuki has stayed a good amount of time on the seat, it is high time that if Red Bull is not doing anything about him, he really needs to move, because idly there is the driver market is a very lucrative one, and again, Yuki may be a hot-headed guy, but then he's got really amazing racecraft.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I personally feel like he needs to move teams, like it's move out from Red Bull. go anywhere else. That's
Yeah.
what I feel. But go on.
I actually disagree with Arjun. I think Yuki should stay with Red Bull because Red Bull is such a strong team. He doesn't wanna pull a Ricardo.
That makes
Look,
sense.
I'll be very blunt. I agree with Arjun, but I also disagree for the fact that you never know what holds next season. It's a new car with a new team coming in. You don't know what they're bringing on the table. You don't know what's expecting from your own team. So staying in the similar team for the next few years would be a smart move, only because there's so many rules and regulations that are going to come up in the next few years. And with Audi coming in the scene, that might even change the whole thing. Hamilton go Ferrari. That's the biggest change of the Formula One century.
Yeah.
A guy who's so loyal towards Mercedes, the Silver Arrows. Now he's gonna wear a McDonald's uniform, driving laps and laps.
There's some red. There is some red. Okay, chill out.
Nathan, I
No,
feel like
but
we really need the Ferrari shirt to be up. Then we need to see if this guy will look at your face and call you a McDonald's employee.
No, I need to.
no.
I need the shirt. Here, get me the McDonald's shirt. Then I'll start wearing it and calling it a Ferrari
You
jersey.
know what? If
I don't
if uh,
have
if I if I do a part time here at McDonald's, I'll definitely get a spare for you for sure.
sick, dude. That's sick. But
uh,
actually, coming back at like Mihir's point, I mean, yeah, that's actually a valid point. But then, you should also realize that 2026, yeah, it's a big regulation change as well, but it's also an engine regulation change as well. And the
mhm.
last time a driver made a change in an engine regulation was Lewis Hamilton from McLaren to Mercedes. So honestly, I know you can't compare both those moves because McLaren and Mercedes are like, yeah, where they are. They were like at the top of the midfield at that point of time.
Correct.
But honestly speaking, you never know. Yuki can go to a team with an engine that has brought a lot of success in Formula One in this past decade, or even in the last 30 years with McLaren, with Red Bull. Honda has done such a good job. So, Honda with Aston Martin, you never know. They've always done very well with their powertrains, especially recently with Red Bull as well. But now Ford powertrains are going to take over. But the 2026 move for Yuki might work because Adrian Newey is now, the technical head of the chief technical officer or head of Aero in Aston Martin now.
He's a technical partner. He's a
Okay,
technical partner, and he holds shares in Aston Martin Racing now.
yeah. So regardless, that should be like a move that Yuki. I mean, if it is open, he should be looking at. But like then again, it's all. I mean, it's Aston Martin. You already know that Lance Stroll is going to be there in that seat, and
Mm.
that is actually something that I agree with Mihir as well. I mean, honestly, he's the most. He's a driver that is so unreliable. He's very
Mm-hmm.
reliable in being very unreliable. I don't know if that makes sense,
It
but
makes total
it's
sense.
true. It's true. I mean, you
I'm so
expect
sorry, but
that
all I
guy.
hear is Ferrari. Just my
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know why.
You know, maybe you should look at Mercedes this season as well, being unreliably,
Oh, I
being
don't see
reliable
Mercedes
and
after
unreliable.
after
Well,
after
I,
after five positions down. I
I'm
don't see
sorry.
cars. So
Oh, really?
I'm going to
Where are you
support
guys
Mir
in
over
the,
here.
in the championship table right now? Huh? Where are you
I'm
guys?
going
I
to
just want to
support
know.
Mir over here. Like again, Mercedes car being unreliable. Like I'm sorry, we only had that
I'm
one
talking about
match
results.
in.
I'm talking about results, Arjun. Not your
Yeah,
engine,
let me
not your
ask
car. Where
about
are you
results.
guys?
Where is Mercedes powered cars? P1
It's
on
fine. If
constructors.
your Mercedes team cannot produce a car with your own engine and a customer can do a better job. That's being unreliable. That's being
Hey,
reliably unreliable. I'm
let's
sorry.
let's talk about Haas out qualifying both the Ferraris, being the quickest Ferrari on the race. Like,
That's wonderful.
have you got any comments for that?
That's wonderful. And guess what happened in the race? That's where we score points. And
Less is
it's just
history.
what the Ferrari does. It's just what the Ferrari does. I mean, we qualify well. We have a good race car. We have a good engine. Lewis
I'm
Hamilton's
so
coming next
sorry, but
season.
I'm so sorry, but
You
this
should
reminds me
just
of this I'm so sorry, but this Sergio Arnav Goswami, this whole debate going on back and forth. If you guys don't know who's
You
Arnav Goswami, you should absolutely search him up and look at a few of his videos. The only thing he does is shout repeatedly, repeatedly, just a few things, a few lines. That's all. Can we just change the topic, guys, please? I don't want to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
something
sure,
else
sure.
now.
No, we have been talking about since Nathan brought up Adrian Newey's move to Aston Martin. Of course, it is a $30 million deal. And again, I even saw like during the launch, they like, oh, we were in the gym, and I was thinking. Lawrence Stroll in the gym would be interesting. The guy was like, "Oh,
Mm.
okay." Like again, I don't know if ever something feels like a bit, what do you call, being like, oh, okay, we went to the gym and then we were doing this and then we were like, okay, you know what, like, we come to my team, I'll give you shares.
Oh God.
And it was
Um,
funny, to be very honest.
you really think that strategy? Maybe that's a gameplay that he played very well, and it worked out for him.
Again, I'm not because Lawrence, for example, a very, he knows what to talk to media.
Yeah. Hmm.
He's very media trained, unlike what do you call Helmut Marko, who just like once in a blue moon just shows up his face, talking very slowly and being like, yeah. Like that's not him, okay? But yeah, but I feel like again, he's also what do you call? He's got his marketing right. I feel. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that strategy was wonderful. Like media can he can definitely talk in media for sure. I'll tell you that. Arjun, I absolutely I'm so sorry. There's an internal joke going on, and it's killing me. 'Cause
What's the joke
I'm just
going
so sorry. So we were on the chat, listeners. We were on the chat, and we were just talking about how Nathan was popping off, and he started shouting at all of us for some reason, and we started tickling his funny bone. And now he just apologized on the group chat, and now we are just on the group chat. Anyway, coming back to Arjun, obviously, that's I kind of agree with Arjun with what he said. Sorry, guys, we need like 2 minutes for to get Vish and Nathan's faces
Sorry.
Dude, the
red
fact
as
that I was not even,
Ferrari.
I said it, I swear to God, I
No,
was
no,
not
no.
even.
You know what? You know what?
My parents are sleeping in the other room.
I'm hiding and muting their mics right now.
I'm
Because
sorry.
one, go
Okay,
for it.
perfect. Yeah. Okay. Well, I generally think that what Arjun just said right now is perfectly accurate with the strategy that Lance Stroll is making through. And let's be honest, gym is one place that you always talk about business. When I'm in the gym, I get like 3 to 4 calls from my dad. He goes like, "Ye karo, like do this, do that, do that."
Goodness me.
Trust me, lunch, coffee, gym,
Uh-huh.
walking are the three
Uh-huh.
places that businessmen usually get the
Four places.
most
Sorry,
creative ideas.
See,
four places, not three.
lunch, coffee, and what was the fourth one you said?
Gym and walking. Like when you walk,
Walking. Lunch, coffee, walking, I get, but the gym?
yeah, yeah. Imagine Arjun owning like Ferrari. I'm lifting, and then I go like, uh, and I go to
Please.
F40. I go to F45, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna lift with him. I'm gonna lift heavier. I'll be like, oh, I can help
Mm-hmm.
you. Boom! I got a contract with him. That's how it works.
Okay, well, pop off Lawrence Stone, I guess.
No, no, I'm
So
joking. I'm joking. This is all a joke. I'm sorry, guys. Nathan, how about you start off with what Arjun said? I'm joking. This is all jokes.
I mean, yeah, if going to the gym is getting you good deals or whatever, or is giving you good results, then I think Aston Martin as a team should just be in a gym. They should invest in a gym and live in a gym because the team needs to do a better job, honestly speaking. Because look, I'm going to again come back to, Mihir's point that Lance Stroll, I mean, he's such a, I already said my thing about Lance Stroll, but Aston Martin, they have the potential to be, like one of those teams up there with
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes, with Ferrari. They have the resources. They have Lawrence Stroll's full bank account and his literal blank checks of money, literally. And
Honestly.
they're getting new wind tunnels, factories, this and that. Now they've got Adrian Newey. But I'm sorry, I cannot take that team seriously with Lance Stroll as a driver in that team.
No,
that team
absolutely.
if that team needs to move forward and progress further up to the grid to fight the Mercedes, the McLarens, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, they need to get a better driver in Lawrence Stroll. I mean, not Lawrence Stroll, in Lance Stroll. um, but it's not going to happen, and it's a shame. I mean, Lawrence needs to really think about his business, and now I don't know if he's doing this solely just for Lance. Then that's an amazing dad. Honestly, he's such a wonderful
If
dad.
only. Yeah.
If he's just doing this Aston Martin project just for his son, but if he's looking at progressing further, winning championships and titles, he's got Adrian Newey. He just needs that second driver.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like have you guys seen the show Rick and Morty?
Right.
Okay, so Lance Stroll is 40, and Daddy Stroll is Rick, his bitch, and whatever Daddy says, he does. That's the whole thing with
Um,
the. It is
you
what it's
see,
true.
you're not
Tell me
wrong.
I'm wrong. You guys haven't spoken
Not
about
wrong.
it.
You are
Exactly. I
not
want
wrong
everyone to
at
wait
all.
1 second. Wish. Wait 1 second. I want everyone to say yes, me, you're right. Arjun?
You are.
Okay. Nathan?
Bro, I haven't watched Rick and Morty, so I cannot say yes or no.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give you another example. What TV shows do you watch?
Well, I mean,
Okay, let's
how
say
is that
Doraemon.
going?
Doraemon. Let's say Doraemon. Okay, Nobita
Okay.
is the bitch, and the Doraemon is Daddy Stroll, because he always, whenever he's in trouble, he goes to Doraemon. That's how it rotates.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can see.
Don't tell me you haven't watched Doraemon.
No, I have.
Okay,
Okay,
Come
Every
on,
so
I
that
have.
Indian child does, please.
yeah, exactly. So that's what's happening in this multiverse, and I hopefully not in any other multiverse.
okay.
Yes, you were saying something, right? Let's hear it.
You're, thank you. You're not wrong. And this is a pattern that we've seen with Lance and Lawrence Stroll, that where Daddy Stroll goes, son Stroll goes. We've seen it with BWT. When Lawrence owned BWT, Lance was there. When he shifted to Aston Martin, Lance went there. Where Lawrence went, Lance went. And I think that is always going to be the scenario. Honestly, see, Red Bull's giving out all of their best people, right? Starting from Adrian Newey and everything. I mean, they're all going. Half of them are going to McLaren. I think the other half are going to Aston Martin. And I think Aston Martin as a team, even with all of that, if they're still not going to do well when they have one of the best designers, it's sad that they're gonna have Lance Stroll like this. We know for a fact it's not gonna change. We know for a fact that Lance Stroll is gonna be there as long as Lawrence Stroll is gonna be there, and that this has been a pattern that we've seen in Lance Stroll's 6-7 year career, and simple as that. It's Lawrence Stroll the reason why Lance Stroll. Fine, maybe he might have gotten into F1 because of his own thing, but it's Lawrence Stroll that's the reason why Lance is still in Formula One, because he would have been out ages ago if his dad did not own 55% of the company.
Oh.
And that's just it. We can't change that. I don't think they're gonna rely on another driver. They're gonna keep Lance for as long as Lance lives, and as long as Lawrence Stroll pays the big bucks with blank checks, as you said, Nathan. So yeah, I don't know what Aston Martin is doing, but maybe, I mean, Adrian Newey is being paid more than most of the drivers. That's a big thing. That's a huge thing,
That
right? When you
he's
think about it.
he's the fourth most paid person when this contract comes alive.
Exactly, that's the thing, right? This man is being paying a huge amount of money, more than 16 other drivers of the grid. If nothing happens, God help them. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, just going back to the point where you told about people leaving from Red Bull. This is like Jos Verstappen was just like, this is what I warned about early in the day itself. Because we have been seeing regression from Jos Verstappen for quite a while now, and he has been very critical about Red Bull's organization structure. And now he says that the team says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. We have someone else." But it's too many people now who decided to leave. So we have got what you call Adrian Newey, Jonathan Beatley, and I don't know the last person who joined McLaren recently. But one is to Audi, one is to McLaren, one is to AMR. So that's they got some kind of what you call housekeeping to do in terms of
They really should.
in terms of what you call maintaining their people. But we have the big story which has recently broke out, which is Renault.
Before we get into it, just a little side note. If Yuki Tsunoda, you're listening to this, just follow the rest of the Red Bull team, please. Just letting you know.
You really think Yuki's gonna, from his time, if his busy lifestyle, he's gonna listen to our podcast? I hope so.
If
I really want
if
to.
if this reaches Yuki Tsunoda, please God, I pray to you, Yuki, listen to us and leave. Leave Red
Wow.
Bull, I beg you.
If that's how it works, then oh my God, Lewis Hamilton, please come to my house for lunch. What is wrong with you, Ish?
Okay, okay, guys, coming back. Over the past few years, we've been seeing Renault engines kind of not performing at its best. This year, particularly, we've been seeing Pierre Gasly being, in fact, like he'll just do what do you call that formation lap, and then he'll just retire the car. That poor guy really wants to race and he couldn't race. So we have been seeing the downfall, and Flavio Berrettori, who is an ex Renault team principal and famously known for the Crashgate, he came back to the organization as an executive advisor, and with him, a lot of things turned around in the organization. And one of them is this engine program. So, idly, what is the Renault engine program is just split into two parts. You've got the F1 engines and you've got the World Endurance Championship engines, which they produce. So right now, as per plan, the Endurance Championship still runs. It's just the F1 engines they're going to sack off. Just in that way, they just save a lot of money, of course, as a team. Now they're planning to basically get Mercedes powered engines. So yeah, from a perspective where you see Red Bull as a team used these Renault engines to win at least 5 championships. Sorry, not five, 4 championships with Sebastian Vettel. So we know it's not that the engines are bad; it's just that they have deteriorated as we go. Well, yeah, what are your thoughts as a works team moving to a customer team? Again, I know I spoke too much. Lol.
Okay, I can go on this one. Renault moving to Alpine as a commercial, they want to work on hypercars, supercars, and I think it's a great idea. I don't think Alpine and Renault are doing any good. I'm so sorry, but they're doing okay. But I think they should really focus on commercial if they want to gain profits. Now, once they have a good capital for their research, for the development of the Formula One cars, they can come back in the game anytime they want. But for now, I think it's a good idea to step out of this game, let the top five teams invest a lot of money, let Alpine get some capital for the research. Because again, Formula One cars and hypercars are very different, but they're also very similar at one point when it comes to aerodynamics, when it comes to testing, when it comes to weight distribution, engine 1:1 ratio. Koenigsegg can easily come to Formula One with a 1:1 ratio car. I'm assuming you guys would know what 1:1 ratio car is. It's Koenigsegg made this car where the engine is the same weight as the body.
As yeah,
So there are multiple teams that can do that, but they don't want to because there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of payments, there's a lot of taxes that go through this. So Alpine is maybe make the smarter move in this situation for the future. So I agree to this. So Nathan, what do you think?
I mean, ever since the success in Red Bull with Sebastian Vettel, and since that big engine regulation where we went from the V8s to the V6s, the turbo hybrid era, Renaults haven't been performing well at all. They've never really made a dent or done a good job in securing like a really good engine and maybe producing a championship winning car. I mean, they've never done it. They've always fallen short, even at the start of the season as well. So it's it's actually kind of sad to see like an engine supplier drop out, because obviously we want multiple engine suppliers, or at least each team to have their own individual engine suppliers so that there's more competition. But it's a shame, because I would have loved to see the improvement or some of the work that they would have done for the 2026 engine. And if I'm not wrong, there were some reports that the signs were promising for the 2026 engine, the Renault 2026 engine. So it's sad that we won't get to see that, but another car with a Mercedes engine. So here is another team that can beat Mercedes maybe in the future. So I'm down for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much to say on the topic because I didn't exactly read through it, but Mercedes is just adding on another team to their engine supplying, and I mean, good for Mercedes. It's just that they have more competition now in terms of, equal engine. And I think it'll just help them push a little bit more and try to get their car, them being, the name holding, I mean, the ones holding the name as well as having the engine and not just, uh, partnership. If anything, I feel like adding on extra pressure of another team will probably give them more pressure and hopefully push them to do better. I don't know.
Yeah,
It could go both ways.
they could also just sell to Andretti. Andretti, please make a move.
Ah!
Yeah,
Please.
literally, like if they can actually have those Cadillac engines come in,
Oh, beautiful.
it would have again because right now it just looks like okay, Aston Martin is
Me's face
and in
does not
Aston
agree
Martin
with it.
spot comes Renault, or sorry, Alpine, not Renault. Let's make it clear, Alpine.
Mm-mm-mm.
I feel in fact that team will never be called Renault Sport anymore. It'll just be called Alpine.
That was years ago. Not gonna happen.
Uh,
But Mihir, you look like you don't agree with the whole Cadillac thing.
no, bro, what do you think, bro? Tell me.
First of all, right, Cadillac is it's a boat on four wheels. But I'll tell you what it is, right? Cadillac is an exceptional company, right? It's the pinnacle of what American. I wish I could make that eagle sound right now, but that's uh,
Steve
that's what it
Logan
is, right?
Sargent.
No, no, no. This Cadillac itself. I'm not gonna have drivers connect to this, but I think Cadillac coming in would. It's really weird because I've never really resembled Cadillac with sports. I've always resembled Cadillac with luxury and and heavy duty and wood and oak trees and and Donald Trump
Basically,
and Joe Biden. Yeah, and that's presidential. Like USA.
The fact that
Yeah.
you said Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Mihir, you need to get checked out.
No,
Pretty
like you know what
serious.
I mean, right? But you know what I mean, right? It's all about America
Yeah, I,
and
I get you
uh,
though. I get you though. It's like luxury, blah
exactly.
blah. I get it.
So,
I get it.
having them in Formula One would really not match. Maybe, I mean, they're doing really well in those Le Mans 24 hours. I think their electric cars are phenomenal. They sound absolutely amazing. But in fact, I preferred the Cadillac startup. If you guys haven't heard it, you should definitely go on YouTube and search it up. The BMWs are really good. The Porsches are really good, but the Cadillac is the loudest. Now, the loudest doesn't always mean it's the best, but it does sound cool. Okay. But coming back to the fact that if we want Cadillac, I, I, I have a very mixed mind about this, but obviously Cadillac would open up to a new space in this industry, whilst Audi coming in is Audi already has a very strong foundation in Audi Motorsports. So it won't be such a drastic, new environment for them, if you know what I mean. So I think that Cadillac would be wasting the time and energy, and they should really focusing on making their own commercial cars much more better, even though they are really, really cool cars. Yeah, that's my input in this.
all right, that sounds cool, but idly we have to see how this is going up. Speaking about engines, we have to talk about another team, which is Mercedes customer team. Recently has been on the rise of performance, which is Williams. Again, the car we thought was basically like cannot do anything has been scoring some good nice points. Except like Singapore, they were really close on to scoring that 1 point at least, but they couldn't. But it has been a really remarkable moment, especially with Williams. We know whenever the track has got long straights, that car can perform because it's really quick. So that's traditionally what's known. But then recently, Pat Fry, who is the technical director at Williams, said they couldn't upgrade the car because of Logan Sargent's accident bills.
These people didn't have enough money to change the chassis, please.
No, but again,
But
it's
understandable, honestly.
no, but imagine you have like say at the moment I think we are just 6 more races away from the season to wind up. In this past, what do you
So,
call 16 races? So not 60. I don't exactly know the number, but say in the past races, you have in that one say 5 races your car being absolutely destroyed, and then now
yeah.
you got this one. It's like it's just a mess.
I mean, but when you look at it, fine, they don't have that much, to work with and upgrades. But even with this car, coming to the reason why we bought up Williams, they are doing quite well. You could see not just Alex Albon, but Franco Colapinto as well. his first time, his first few races in Formula One, he's doing exceptionally well. You know, for someone that has barely had any time in an F1 seat, he's doing quite well. And that boy deserves a seat next year. No matter what it is, he deserves a seat next
You
year.
know
It's not going
what?
to be Williams,
You know what I
but something.
personally feel? I personally feel like, okay, you called a driver, a young driver, mid Formula Two championship,
Mm-hmm.
and give him a seat. Next year, if I next year he will not have a seat because another driver is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And you now have just one more seat to be filled for the 2025 grid to come to be locked. So where is he going after this? Well, this is the biggest question. I personally would have thought he could have at least loaned another driver, say for example, like by the likes of what do you call Mick Schumacher or something from
I was
Mercedes
thinking that.
for that brief period and then kind of
If
gone.
I'm not wrong, isn't Mick also a reserve driver for them? For Williams?
No,
By default?
no, it's just from Mercedes and McLaren.
Ah, okay. Williams don't have reserve drivers then.
Well, they just play up here and there.
Mm.
But what do you think, Nathan? Like, have seeing like the last few races and like things, but and of course Colapinto. What do you think?
I mean, yes, you can look at this season as well, but I'll also say to look at the last season, barring Logan Sargent. And unfortunately for Mercedes fans, you have lost a gem in James Wells because he is one of those driving factors for the success in Williams. I mean, seriously, that man, if he tells me to, jump in a well, I will do it. I will actually do it. He'll motivate me because he's that type of person. I mean, you have to see his videos, like the way he debriefs after each race or after every practice session. Man,
Yeah.
the man can talk. But seriously, like Williams are doing such a great job, and if Frank Williams was still alive, Sir Frank Williams would be really proud of where this team is because in 2018, 2019, we really saw them struggle so much with Kubica, with George Russell, with Sirotkin and Lance Stroll. I mean, those were some weird driver pairings. But seriously, from where they were those years to where they are right now, the future is bright and it's great. Alex Albon having now a very competitive teammate in Franco Colapinto. Let's hope that he continues his form for the rest of the season as well. But it's looking bright next year too with Carlos Sainz,
Honestly. Yeah. Mm.
joining their team. So the trajectory is just going upwards now. So I really can't wait to see how this team performs.
And in fact, just to add in, it's not just with Carlos Sainz. In fact, they have taken some acquisitions on the technical side, like all those design side, have brought in some big names. Like you've got some people from ex Alpine, you've got some from I don't exactly remember which were the teams, but I know Alpine was one of them. Um, but yeah, big bucks. They're talking big things, and they're ready to kind of go for the fight. I'm pretty much sure 2025, the season, is going to be one hell of a kind because last season, with the current regulations and pretty much a good amount of Formula One teams, except for Stake, F1, Sauber, whatever you call that, has been the one lacking behind. But yeah, just before we go into it, here, what do you think about this particular performance resurgence from Williams, though?
Honestly, I haven't done much research about it, so I won't be able to comment much. But from what I've understood from you, Nathan and Vish, it's a good progress. I think they know what they're doing, and they don't have to worry anything about budgeting. I'll tell you that. When it comes to Williams, yes, then the lowest teams, but in terms of heritage, they have a lot of history, and they don't have that kind of stress. I think Williams is a very stressless team, because they know F1. If I'm not wrong, Arjun, F1 pays Williams to be a part of Formula One, right?
No, it's Ferrari.
It's Ferrari. It's not Williams. Are you sure?
Very sure.
Okay. Well, if that, wow.
Ferrari,
Okay.
beginning of racing. Would make sense that Formula would pay Ferrari.
I always thought it was Ferrari and Williams because Williams is a heritage team.
No, if you look like that, McLaren is a heritage team.
McLaren as well. Yeah.
No, but again, McLaren is it's new, isn't it? Like, compared to Ferrari, Ferrari has been there since.
No, no. I mean,
Ferrari,
Ferrari's been there from
Ferrari
the
is the
beginning.
oldest. I think after that, like around the same times did McLaren and Williams.
McLaren and Williams. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, you learn something every day, and I learned this. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Arjun. Because all this time I thought that Ferrari and anyway, I'm gonna erase that from my brain. Thank you so much.
I mean, it's good to see Williams doing really well, and honestly, not just 2025 with the pairing of Albon and Carlos, but 2026 also with the regulation changes, the new people coming in. You never know what's gonna happen. Williams could be back where they were in the 90s.
Well, yeah, I just
Yeah.
did some research and I just got to know McLaren was the one which joined earlier in 1966, and
Oh,
Williams was the one that joined in 1977. So about like 11 years difference.
wow. That's wow. Damn. Okay. Wow. I did not know this. Well, thanks, Arjun. You're the best.
You're most welcome.
That's so sarcastic. I'm sorry.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was. It was genuine. I'm so sorry if it sounded like that.
So, Arjun, you're the best.
I
Yeah,
felt like,
see?
those kind of what do you call kids watch those educational series and then they're like, oh, thank you so much.
This
You
reminds me of
know?
Dora.
Oh, exactly. Dora the Explorer.
Do you see the
You
bananas?
think
I
so?
don't. I don't see the bananas. Do you see the bananas?
Put the
Turn
monkey.
left, bitch. Maybe you can find it there. Anyway.
Anyways, moving on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
all of us, like when people from the early generations talk about Formula One, there was always that one name, Michael Schumacher.
Yep.
So Michael Schumacher had an accident and was in coma for a very long time. But then there has been now stories, which again from a good reliable sources I've got to know, that he was present. So he did his first public appearance at his daughter's wedding. Apparently, no cameras were allowed, so we couldn't see the pictures. But this is the big story. And of course, Nathan, being a Ferrari fan, following Ferrari for a very long time, would be having what do you call, I think, a lot to talk about that, right? What
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, from when that incident happened and years passed by and there was no news about it, you in your head you would obviously think of bad news,
Mhm.
but to hear news like this come up, it's very encouraging. And I'm really happy for the Schumacher family especially. And it's honestly like big encouragement for them as well, because keep fighting Michael has been like a slogan that has been going on and has been really passed on over these years. And yeah, there were no, he's probably still, recovering. Maybe he's still in that, state, but it's really good signs. And I'm just really happy for Michael and his family, and especially for Michael to share, you know that moment with in his daughter's wedding. I mean, that's really encouraging, and it's just wonderful that this has happened. And I honestly just wish him well, and I hope he recovers. And yeah.
Yeah, and to the newest one on the block.
Hi.
Again,
No,
I don't know if you even thought about it in the first place. Because,
Michael?
because I'll tell you this, a good amount of them just be like, oh, Charles Leclerc, oh, Lando Norris, like literally, we had this new intern who joined at my work, and then they're like, oh, wait, let me talk, let me finish. This person just told me, oh, I like Charles Leclerc. I'm like, okay, but I like Lewis Hamilton's driving. I'm like, excuse me. What do you mean by that?
Thank
On
you.
that travel disappointment of what the current girls of Formula One likes to check out, but being really
Please.
happy about what's going on with Michael Schumacher. Thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Fun. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll be back during the United States Grand Prix times the Circuit of Americas after this big break because trust me, it is really boring all of us. Until next time, this is the entire crew of From the Pod signing off. Goodbye.